What's cracking, everybody? James Go here with you. Fantasy Freaks and Geeks. Clark Schuyler, I see you, buddy. Yeah, man. So just, if you guys are here, man, you guys know me, man. It's just, I'm just here to just, lay out some fantasy info and answer any of you guys' questions, man. So yeah, if you guys want to roll through, by all means, throw all your questions out there, man. I'll try to get to as many of them as possible, man. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to week 6. I got after it a little bit last night. I got on the sauce, which was not the greatest call when you have an early call time. But man, we're here, dude. We're doing our thing. So yeah. So if you guys have some questions, whatever, just throw them my way. Clark, I will get to your question in just a minute here. Let me just go ahead and pull up my little matchup document so that I could lay out some info for you guys. And I know we got this London game going on right now, which I'm missing, which is a bummer, but that's okay. Clark, I hope you're in the chat, man. You got a team that's absolute boo-boo, having to start Michelle and Singletary. Do I take a shot on Bell, who is active today? The thing that you like about Bell, and by the way, if I'm tripping, I apologize. Like I said, I'm just ass tired today, guys. I'm just completely gassed today, bro. But it's all good. Bell's got the Chargers today, which is a favorable matchup. They've allowed actually the highest yards per carry average to the running back position. So for me, it's at least got some upside there, but they don't really utilize him. You know what I mean? Like Latavius Bell has taken firm control of that backfield. He's seen 50% or more of the backfield touches, and nobody else is even seeing 30%. So yeah, I'm not really trusting that one. I actually like the Michelle matchup. Against the Giants, I think they will. I don't know. It's so hard to say. I think they will utilize Sony, but yeah, it's odd that they just keep piling on the work on one player. I don't know. Maybe that changes. And then Singletary's got a great matchup too. So even though Tennessee has been, I'm assuming you're talking about Devon Singletary. Even though he, is clearly the backup. You're hoping that he can kind of get a couple of targets out of the backfield and salvage that. But man, that's tough, bro. That's like the Kirkland brand running backs you got going on right there in your backfield, dude. That's not great. What combo do you like better out of Cup Woods or Shepard? Oh, come on, it's Cup Woods all day long. I get that Kadarius Toney had a great game last week. I get it, But, again, that was with, a receiver apocalypse there with the Giants. And, they got Sterling Shepard back, which is great. They got Darius Slayton back, which is great. And I do think Daniel Jones is actually a little bit of a sneaky pick this week in fantasy. But, no, Cup is the guy. Woods is the guy. And the matchup is awesome, man. Let me pull that up for you here. The Giants have allowed the highest completion rate in the NFL, just under 74%. So I think Matt Stafford's going to have an absolutely brilliant day today. And I get it. They have allowed the 12th fewest fantasy points to wide receivers, but the 71% catch rate to wide receivers is actually the second worst in the NFL. I think Cooper Kupp, I think Robert Woods are absolute must-starts. I think they're going to both go a little bit crazy today. And also, they allow an 80% catch rate, which is the 5th highest, to wide receivers lined up in the slot. So I think Cooper Kupp, if we're stacking in DFS, I do have a lineup out there that's Matt Stafford, Cooper Kupp. So I think that's a very strong stack. Here's the thing. Even on outside wide receivers, they're allowing a very nice 69% completion rate to outside wide receivers. That's the second highest in the NFL. And they're also allowing the 12th most fantasy points to that two wide receivers lined up outside. So I think Robert Woods also is a very strong start. I just think today is an absolute Cooper Kupp game. And I think it's a smash spot for him. So, yeah, you got to go. Absolutely got to go Cooper Kupp. Let's see here. One of each, I mean, as a mini stack. Oh, I see what you're saying. So, okay, so I like Cup, clearly. And of Shepard or Tony, give me Shepard. Again, I understand. Tony had a monster game last week. Monster. But I think once Shepard comes back, he has, to me anyways, looked like Daniel Jones' favorite target. So I would absolutely go with that combination of Cup and Shepard to me. All right, so Fantasy Fanatics on Twitter. What's going on, man? Bruce Mumble, there you go. Just stopping by to say hello. What's up, man? I appreciate you stopping by the stream. Hey, by the way, if you guys could like the video, if you guys could comment, if you guys could subscribe, that would be huge, man. That would be huge. I would really appreciate that. That would be dope. DJ Spar, this is my producer here at Fantasy Zone, and this is a guy that he and I like. We like come up with these. People ask me like, "Hey, how do you come up with these ideas?" Like, it's me and DJ. Like, we just come together and we just like put together these ideas, man. I don't know what's going on, but help me break up with LaVisca for my dynasty team. You were hyped in the preseason, but he's giving you nothing. Is he in the dirt? Is he in the dirt? Can I look at this box score, dude? I literally woke up, fired off a couple tweets, got ready. I haven't seen the game. I've seen 0% of this game. And I'm going to have to spend some time, unfortunately, Monday, watching part of this game. But I will do that for you guys. So I don't know, man. What's going on with LaVisca today, dude? Let's. I just want to kind of. Let me just. Can I fire up my stat tracker? Is that cool? Is that kosher with y'all? Dolphins, Jaguars, man. Jaguars got 3 stinking points. What is going on with this offense, by the way? Honestly, honestly, what the hell is going on with this offense? I had some hopes. I had a lot of high hopes, actually. Part of me wonders if the Jags have just kind of quit on Herb, man. Like, I don't know. So, Laviska Shenault's got 1 catch for 9 yards. Yikes. Yeah, bro. Might be time for the breakup, dude. Might be time for the breakup. I don't know. Dynasty's so hard, though. Like, I don't play any Dynasty leagues. I mean, it's just, for me, it's just, I don't know. That's tough. You want to hold on to young players, and Laviska's a young player, so I don't know, man. But, yeah, I think you can confidently break up with Laviska on your fantasy team, dude. John E., what's going on? Your opponent's got Herbert on a bye this next week. Any waiver wire quarterbacks with good matchups I can pick up to play keep away? Ooh, this is cool. Hold on. I do have one. I got a bunch, actually. Hold on. Let me pull that up, though. Yeah, man. I mean, because when you look at the Week 7 buys, it's absolute hell. Week 7 is hell. Hell on earth. You've got Buffalo on a bye. You've got Dallas on a bye. You've got Jacksonville on a bye, thankfully, actually, because nobody cares about Jacksonville now. You got the Chargers on a bye. Oh, my gosh. You got Justin Jefferson, Dalvin Cook on a bye. Minnesota on a bye. You got Pittsburgh on a bye. All those pass catchers in Pittsburgh, man. Yeah, dude, that is rough. Ryan Tannehill, I think, has got a great matchup against Indianapolis, and then Carson Wentz against Tennessee. Yeah, you want to pick on Tennessee. You want to pick on Tennessee each and every week. So if you were talking about a waiver wire quarterback, am I tripping here? What's going on with my schedule? No, Week 7. Sorry. I am tripping. I apologize. Week 7. I'm on it now, guys. I'm telling you. I'm a little gasped this morning. That's okay. San Francisco. Ooh, that's an interesting one. Against Indianapolis? San Francisco versus Indianapolis? Who's going to be the starter there? Is it going to be Trey Lance? Is it going to be Jimmy G? I don't know. We'll see. If it's Jimmy G, I think Jimmy G is actually a streamable quarterback against Indianapolis in Week 7. And then let's take a look here. Who else we got in Week 7? Patrick Mahomes against Tennessee. Good Lord. Yeah, that one's gonna be a bloodbath. What else we got here? Wow, there's not a whole lot. Matt Ryan, I mean, Matt Ryan's on a lot of waiver wires right now. Chicago. Are we going to trust Chicago against Tampa Bay? He's probably going to get sacked 10 times. But it's a great matchup. It is for the pass catchers, no doubt about that. Yeah, man, unfortunately, I don't see a ton. You know what? Tyler Heineke against Green Bay. Good matchup. Really good matchup with no Jair Alexander, man. So there you go. If I had to pick two, maybe Taylor Heineke is a good one. Although I'm sure a lot of people are playing Taylor Heineke this week against Kansas City, dude. That would be my thing, man. Okay, you got an interesting one for me, Bruce? Let's see here. Half PPR, Sutton, Hubbard, Moss. The Sutton matchup is not ideal. But he is seeing Sutton's seeing so many targets and a ton of air yards. I think he's top 5 in air yards right now. And he's seeing a ton of targets. I don't think you could really sit him. You see what I did there? Sit him. Chuba, I get it, man. Like, you know, he's going to start. He's got a really good matchup, actually, too. But I don't know, man. I'm chasing that upside. Give me Sutton out of that one. By the way, Zach Moss has been coming around. Like, low-key, I thought there was nobody in this backfield that I would want. Zach Moss is kind of a backfield guy that I want there in Buffalo, man. That's not bad. Clark Schuyler shouting out DJ Spar. There you go. Let's get some tweets in the What the Fantasy segment. Hey, you know what? That's not a terrible idea. Although the only problem would be, like, the only dude that would be in it would be you, Clark. That'd be the only guy. You'd be the only guy in there with tweets, bro. Totally Techies. Hey, man, what's going on? Appreciate you jumping into the chat here. You picked up Sony Michelle early. Okay. Going without James Robinson, Keenan Allen, Emmanuel Sanders next week. I was like, James Robinson's playing right now, isn't he? Okay, so you picked up Sony Michelle early, which is cool. That's smart move. Yeah, you want to hammer running backs against Detroit. That's for sure. Who else do we want to run against here? You're asking me if you should pick up Sony Michelle. Yes. Yes, you should. Sorry, man. Yes, you absolutely should pick up Sony Michelle against Detroit. That's a really smart call because you want to pick up running backs against Detroit. They are just getting hammered on the ground, and I do love that matchup for sure. 100%. Yes. Go pick up those dudes. Chargers are on a bye next week, but just FYI, guys, moving forward, I'm just going to pick running backs against the Chargers because they're absolutely terrible. They stink. They can't stop the run at all. And that's why I actually really, really like Latavius Murray this week as a sleeper and in DFS. So there you go. You started Gaskin and James Robinson this morning. Let's take a look at Gaskin. What's he do? You thought, see, this is what you thought. You thought Myles Gaskin had a huge blow-up game against Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is one of the best run defenses in the NFL, and you're thinking Myles Gaskin is going to get it going. Guess what? No. Myles Gaskin did all his damage last week against Tampa Bay because he was catching balls all over the place. But with Tua, he doesn't really target the running backs that often. And there you go. 4 attempts for 8 yards for Myles Gaskin and James Robinson right now, sitting on 6 for 18. I still got a little bit of faith here in the second half for James Robinson, who, by the way, has been playing really, really well. I think he's a top 10 fantasy running back right now. So there you go. Let me go through some of my matchup notes for you guys here, man. But by the way, if you guys are just joining me, it's cool. We appreciate you jumping in. Throw questions my way, and I'll answer as many of these questions as possible. Let me go through this Giants. Oh, my gosh, I just lost lights. What's going on? Hold on. Stay with me. We're back. They didn't know what the hell to do with me. They thought I was dead in here. I'm not dead in here, y'all. I'm just getting started, baby. We're just getting started. Okay, the Giants. Sterling Shepard is back. Slayton is back. I think you could lower your expectations a little bit for Kadarius Toney, but man, Stafford in DFS, absolutely Love Stafford. Daryl Henderson is an absolute must-start in this game as well. The Giants have allowed the 5th most fantasy points to that position. And also the 4.82 yards per carry allowed is the 3rd highest. They're supposed to have a big lead, big lead in this one. Beautiful game script for Daryl Henderson. I think he's an absolute must-start. I'm starting him pretty much everywhere in DFS and in redraft wherever I can. In Detroit, Cincinnati, Joe Mixon will play. They keep saying he's going to have his normal workload. Like, I get it, okay? Like, I'm pushing Chris Evans right now. Pretty good athlete. Ran a 4.44 40. So there you go. Those for all my 4-for-4 freaks out there. But and they keep saying Joe Mixon is going to have his normal workload. They said the exact same thing last week. They said Joe Mixon is going to have his normal work. He played 25% of the snaps. So I'm not saying that that's not going to be the case. I'm not even saying he's going to see 25% of the snaps. I'm just saying if it's a 50-50 backfield split against Detroit, and let's say it's supposed to be a closer game, but let's say Cincinnati builds a 10-point lead in the fourth quarter. I could see them going to Mixon, but I could see them also mixing in a lot of Chris Evans as well. So, and by the way, like I could absolutely see him just breaking one because that's how bad Detroit's run defense is. TJ Hawkinson questionable again with that knee. Did not practice on Wednesday. He was limited on Thursday and Friday. I know he's been somewhat of a disappointment these last few weeks. It's tough. It is tough to trust him with that knee injury, but let's hope that he gets going this week, man. So yeah, I don't know. By the way, Detroit allowing the 10th fewest fantasy points to wide receiver. That's fool's gold, man. Like, they've been targeted the 3rd fewest in the NFL. Okay, so teams are attacking them on the ground, but this is supposed to be a more competitive game. Vegas has it as a 3-point spread for Cincinnati. So if it is competitive, expect the wide receivers to get work. So I'm not worried about Jamar Chase, obviously, who's a top 12 fantasy wide receiver, and I think Tyler Boyd kind of gets loose a little bit here in this ball game as well. Detroit has allowed an 83% completion rate. An 83% completion rate to slot wide receivers. It's the 3rd highest in the NFL. So I think Tyler Boyd will have a pretty nice day today. Chargers taking on Baltimore. And the Chargers, by the way, moving forward, have been really, really tough against slot receivers. They've allowed the 2nd fewest fantasy points to slot receivers this year. They've allowed the fewest yards to wide receivers lined up in the slot. Now, there's nobody on Baltimore. I mean, I think James Prosh. I don't even know how to say his name. He gets not utilized in this passing attack. So there's no one notable in Baltimore, but I'm just saying moving forward, just keep that in mind. Chargers are a little bit tough against slot wide receivers. By the way, Rashad Bateman active today. I would say he is worth an add and stash in 12-team or deeper leagues. In 14-team leagues, he's probably gone. Like, that's how high people are on Rashad Bateman. But I would just go check to see if Rashad Bateman is around, even in your 14-team league, because I do think he has value and he should be active. He should at least be benched on your bench in fantasy. Ronnie Stanley is out, which kind of sort of makes my Latavius Murray sleeper call a little bit more dicey, but it's all right. As a sleeper, forget it. Like, give me Latavius Murray. It's all good. Like I said, I'm going to be hammering running backs against the Chargers until I see different because they can't stop the run. They absolutely cannot stop the run. Bruce, man, we appreciate you. Good luck in my leagues, man. Dude, in one league, I'm 0-5, if you could believe it, man. It's real bad. What are some of the worst defenses in the NFL? Detroit's right there. Chargers against the run are right there. The Colts against the pass are right there. Tennessee against the pass is maybe the worst in the NFL. If we're talking about pass defenses, Detroit, Tennessee, Jacksonville's up there, and Indianapolis. Those are the 4 worst pass defenses, in my opinion. Kansas City is right there, too. And Washington is also a team that you could pick on. I know Washington's been absolutely destroyed in the secondary. I think part of that will catch up a little bit. I do. The defensive front's still really, really good. Everyone keeps saying, like, oh, what's happened to the defensive front? The front's still great. From what I see and the numbers, like, the front is still great in Washington. And if they could generate just a little bit more pressure up front on pass attempts, I think the pass secondary will catch up there, man. So yeah, I did. I got motion censored, guys. I got motion censored. Anyways, yeah, if you guys got questions, man, obviously throw them my way. All right, let me go through some more of my matchup notes here. Kansas City, Washington. It's supposed to be the highest projected point total on the board today. Charvarius Ward, their top corner for Kansas City, he's out. Chris Jones, wrist, he's out. So a little bit limited pressure for Taylor Heineke, who I think is probably the best streaming quarterback this week against Kansas City. Kansas City's allowed the most fantasy points to quarterbacks this year. Yeah, man, like you want that stack too, right? You want that Heineke McLaurin stack. Like that's a good stack. Do I have that as one of my top stacks this week? I hope so. Let's take a look. I'll give you my top value stacks. It is, yeah. Taylor Heineke, Taylor Heineke, Terry McLaurin uses up just 25.8% of your budget in DK this week. That's really, really good. By the way, Lamar Jackson, Mark Andrews stack. Good night. Only 25.2% of your budget in DK this week. That's nuts. The Chargers have allowed the second most fantasy points to tight end. They just got tagged by David Njoku for 150 and a touchdown last week, man. Mark Andrews is the tight end 2, and Lamar is Lamar. That's an awesome stack, by the way, if you guys want to go that route. Mark Andrews is stupid affordable in DFS this week. So if you guys are playing DFS, like Mark Andrews is like an auto, like you need to start Mark Andrews against the Chargers, who have, I believe, in 4 of their 5 games, they have either given up a 100-yard performer to that position or given up a touchdown, or both. And again, David Njoku just went for 150 and a touchdown last week, so obviously very vulnerable to tight ends are the Chargers. So give me that stack too. And then I talked about it before, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, 26% of budget. Hey, listen, if you can get your stack under 29%, that's pretty good, okay? So 26% of your budget, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase. Again, ignore the FPA numbers. They have allowed the second most fantasy points on deep passes this year. Jamar Chase, as we know, has seen pretty much all his damage over the top. He leads the NFL in both yards and touchdowns on deep passes in 2021. He has more than Tyreek. He has more than Devontae Adams. He has more than Stephon Diggs. Jamar Chase, deep, has been an absolute goldmine, and Detroit is giving up the second most fantasy points on deep passes this year. You figure it out, so there you go. Let me jump back in here, man. Marvin Jones, 28-yard touchdown. I'm telling you, I do need some of that dirt coffee, man. You know what? You know what happened today? I'm always running late. Everyone who knows me knows that I'm constantly running late. That's just my deal. And I never have time for the good stuff, man. I never have time for Starbucks in the morning, man. But and usually I come in here with the dirt office coffee over here. But man, today I was running so late. I was like, nah, can't even do the dirt. I can't even wait the 2 minutes for the dirt coffee. I can't even do the dirt coffee here, man. So yeah, I'm struggling, but it's all good. Hey, listen, by the way, guys, if you guys are joining me, I appreciate y'all. Like and subscribe to the channel. That would be cool. Tell other people to like and subscribe to the channel. That would be dope. And yeah, man, like, just comment below. If you guys are watching, just comment, man. Like, help my YouTube algorithm. Like, that would be nice, man. That would be cool. All right, so cool. Let me go through a couple more notes here, and then I got to peace out. All right. Las Vegas against Denver. This is the fifth lowest projected points on the board today. No, excuse me. This game has the third lowest projected total between the two teams. And Las Vegas, by the way, Las Vegas is sneaky good against the pass this year. They've allowed the sixth fewest fantasy points, the fifth fewest yards, and 2 touchdowns allowed. That's tied for the fewest in the NFL. Sutton, I think, is really too good, seeing too much volume. Somebody asked me about Sutton earlier. He's really good, and then just seeing way too much volume both in targets and air yards. Although I do think Tim Patrick is a sit today in what is supposed to be a slugfest, a really low-scoring game, so we'll see. Although Las Vegas with all the crazy John Gruden crap, what is that? I don't know, man. I always wonder what that team looks like after something big like that goes down. So we'll see. Las Vegas has allowed the third fewest fantasy points to outside wide receivers, which again gives you another red flag for Cortland Sutton. They've also allowed the fifth lowest completion rate, but I don't know, man. I think just Sutton's just too good of a player with too much volume. You play him. Melvin Gordon, DNP Wednesday, but limited Thursday, Friday, just something to keep in mind and look at. Javonte Williams, I think, will start to take hold of this backfield, dare say. I don't know. We'll see. That'll be an interesting one for me. Josh Jacobs, unplayable. Denver's allowed the second fewest fantasy points to the running back position. I say this every week. And I don't know. It's going to happen at some point, but Henry Ruggs is an interesting boomer bust sleeper. Denver has been great defensively, but believe it or not, they've actually given up the 7th most fantasy points to outside wide receivers this year. So Henry Ruggs, who obviously plays almost exclusively outside, I think he's a great play. He's seen so many air yards too, so that's an interesting one. By the way, Dallas, New England, I get it. New England has been, good defensively, but they're allowing a 4.05 yards per carry average to running backs. That's like middle of the road. I think Ezekiel Elliott's a fine start this week. I think you could fire him up with confidence. He might even he's actually like a contrarian play in DFS because so many people are off of him this week. But yeah, I think he'll be fine. Dallas has allowed the 8th fewest fantasy points to the running back position. They allow a 4.2 yards per carry average. And again, both these teams have only allowed 2 touchdowns respectively to that position. Damian Harris, if he goes, I think that's an absolutely super, super tough start. Can I just say, I think this is not a Dalton Schultz game. I'm actually going to say Dalton Schultz is a bust. New England's allowed the fewest fantasy points per game, the fewest yards, and the lowest completion percentage to tight end. If the wide receivers are open and available, because, by the way, that's the way Dak is playing, just throwing to the open man, I don't think Dalton Schultz is going to see that much volume in this game today. So, for me, I think Dalton Schultz is a sit, believe it or not. And I know a lot of you folks don't want to hear that because tight ends everyone kind of wants to think that tight end's a wasteland. I've actually said I don't think tight end's a wasteland this year. I think we have like 7 or 8 good tight ends that we're playing. And unfortunately, Dalton Schultz is one of them. So there you go. All right, this is the last one, guys, and then I got to bounce out. If you guys do have some other questions, this is it. This is final call for y'all. If you have other questions, man. Let me just throw out a couple other players that I'm really looking at, either in DFS or in redraft this week. Jonathan Taylor, $6,600 in DK, which is cool because Houston's allowed 4.75 yards per carry to running backs, 5th highest average in the NFL. By the way, Jonathan Taylor absolutely smashed this unit last year, averaged 115 yards on total per game in the 2 matchups, 3.5 receptions per game, and he scored a touchdown in both games. By the way, averaged 6 yards per carry in this matchup last year. Really, really good. Khalil Herbert at $4,600. I mean, here's the thing. You're not going to find you're really not going to find a starting running back at $4,600. He had 18 carries. Uh-oh, here we go. I got to get this guy going again. Ho. Last one, and I'm out of here. You're not going to find another running back at $4,600 in daily fantasy. It's just not going to happen. At 18 carries, 75 yards last week. Green Bay is better defensively against the run this week, but this year I should say. But still, I think they're an average unit at best. Okay, so he's going to get Khalil Herbert's going to see all the carries. He had decent speed. Okay, 210 pounds, ran a 4.46 40. So he can scoot a little bit. The other metrics, athletic measurements weren't great. Lateral agility, I don't think is a strong suit for him, but north-south, he can get going. So Khalil Herbert in DK this week is an interesting one because, again, $4,600. Like, where else are you going to get a starting running back at that price? It's pretty good. And then Mikol Hardman, absolute must start against Washington. 44% roster, but he saw a season and career high 12 targets in week 5. So there you go. You guys want a bold prediction? I'm out of here. Bold prediction. Davis Mills. You guys ready? Davis Mills, 275 yards, 3 touchdowns. Brandon Cooks, 100-plus yards and a touchdown as well. Colts have allowed the most passing touchdowns in the NFL. They've allowed 15 passing touchdowns in 5 games. That's 3 a game. That's unbelievable. They've also allowed a 73% completion rate. That's the 3rd highest in the NFL. Oh, by the way, a weak secondary, even weaker starting safety Andrew Sendejo out with a concussion this week. So bold prediction, Davis Mills, 275, 3 touchdowns. Brandon Cooks, 100-plus, and a touchdown as well. And then that, ladies and gentlemen, is it for me. I got to bounce. I got to get ready for this show. Okay, last question, man. I swear to God. C.H. Chung, we appreciate you joining in, man. Hey, Hopkins or Pittman? Hopkins. I know Hopkins is not seeing the volume that you would like, but I think overall still better player than Pittman and similar volume totals. By the way, T.Y. Hilton back today. I'm very curious to see what that target distribution looks like in Indianapolis. But I really, obviously, listen, if you guys know me, I love Michael Pittman this year. But in this particular instance, I will go Nuke Hopkins. Go Bears. Yeah, buddy. Go Bears. Absolutely. If you guys could like and subscribe, comment, man, that would be cool. John Daly, you want more Fantasy Bob Ross? Bro, you're going to get more Fantasy Bob Ross. Trust me, we're not done. We are not done. DJ, man, I'm going to see you in just a bit, buddy. So there you go. I appreciate everybody. I got to bounce. I got to peace out. I will see you guys next week, every Sunday. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Would love to have you guys join me. Anyways, we'll see you guys, man. Appreciate you guys joining. And good luck in week 6. We'll see you, man. Peace.